this video, I'm going to go through 10 top Oculus Quest 2 tips. Some of these tips make a small difference, but they're very easy to do. And the first one I want to look at is making your screen darker. So with the Oculus Quest 2, the screen is an LCD screen. And what that means in terms of visuals is that you can never get a completely dark screen because an LCD panel has a backlight. So even if the pixels are black, you still see some light coming from that backlight. But you can make it darker, and I'm going to show you how. You've got this settings APK file you can sideload onto your Quest. If you're not sure how to sideload, check out the description below where there'll be a tutorial that you can follow. Now if you go onto apps, then into unknown sources, select settings Quest 2. I can't actually record this part, but if you go into display, then you'll see a controller that says brightness. Just drag that all the way down to the bottom so it's 0%. And you'll notice your screen go a little bit darker. So when you play those games like Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, you'll find a small difference in darkness. Now it's not huge, but for the amount of effort you have to put in to get it a little bit darker, I think it's totally worth it. Now there are other settings you can play around with this APK file, such as making the font size bigger or smaller, but I'll leave you to check those out. Next up is a very simple hack, but a good one. If you don't have a case or you don't have the money for a case, just use the box. It's very good at storing everything you need very securely. But what if you have an Elite strap? Well, you can use the Elite strap box. So here, if I open this up, I'll show you I can fit the headset and the controllers in the box just fine. All I've had to do is remove some of the cardboard innards and it fits there securely. When I shake the box around, there's no rattling or anything like that. So a great carry case. Just got to make sure the controllers are not touching the lenses and won't touch the lenses when it's being transported. And if you do want something to protect the lenses, why not use the original cardboard lens protector that came in the Oculus Quest 2 box? It works, of course, very well. Now, a next hack is to do with the wrist straps. Now, the wrist straps are okay, but I think I have a much better alternative. So if you take off the battery cover and just pop out the standard wrist strap, then if you have a Wii, you'll find that the wrist strap that comes with a Wiimote actually fits really well in the controller. I have on one end here a knotted piece of cord that I can just put in the original wrist strap place and it fits really well. Now if you don't have a Wiimote strap, you can buy one second hand or get a third party one. They are really cheap, so they won't set you back much if you want to go for that option. And this mod works just as well on the original Oculus Quest. I've used it for a while now and gotta say, I really love these wrist straps. And best of all, it's just really easy to do. Just take off the battery cover, take out the original strap, get the knotted cord end of the Wiimote strap and put that where the original strap was, and then just put back on your battery cover, and there you go. And believe me, after using a wrist strap like this, you won't want to go back to those stock standard Oculus Quest ones. Now my next tip is to make your own knuckles. So what are knuckles? Well, you can see me wearing knuckles here. They are straps that hold your hand to the controllers without you having to continually grip the controllers. So that means you can throw things in the VR, let go of the controller completely, and it won't fly out of your hand. They're actually very good. Well, you can create your own just using the regular Oculus Quest 2 strap. So what I'll do is take off the battery cover, I take out the strap, then using that little plastic toggle, I wrap it around the ring and loop the cable over that toggle and then pull the toggle through and you'll see it tightens onto the ring. And the final step is to take that plastic toggle and then put it back into its original position. Now this can be a little bit fiddly, but once done, you put on the battery cover and you have your own set of knuckles. Now they're not perfect and they're mainly designed if you have smaller hands. My hands are perhaps a little bit too big for this modification as they feel a bit too tight. But the good news is you can make them a bit looser if your hands are a bit larger like mine. All you do is you get something like a plastic cable tie, which I'm using here. I've looped that cable tie through the end of the strap. It gives it a little bit more length, which makes the knuckles strap a bit looser so then you can fit your hand, and of course you can adjust that cable tie to make it tighter or looser depending on your hand size. And the same modification works for the Wiimote strap too. Now my next tip is about IPD, or interpupillary distance. So you're probably aware you can make the lenses further apart or closer together depending on the distance between the center of your pupils from each eye. But with the Oculus Quest 2 you only have 3 IPD settings, so you might not be able to find the exact IPD that's suitable for you. But using this next tip will give you 2 more IPD settings. What you can do is, being very careful, nudge the lenses in a position so they're just between the 2 and the 3 IPD setting, or just between the 1 and the 2 IPD setting like you see here. So this gives you 2 extra lens space settings, the first being approximately 61mm in terms of the IPD, that's between the 1 and the 2 setting, and the second being approximately 66mm, that's the one between the 2 and the 3 setting. So if you find the 3 settings don't seem to quite work for you, try these additional 2 as they might do the trick. Now my next tip is really simple, but you might not know about it. So if you go down into experimental features and scroll down, you'll see a pass-through shortcut. This allows you, when turned on, to tap the left or right side of your head, and when you do it you go into pass-through mode, so you're able to see your environment, which is so handy if you really quickly need to just see what's around you before going back into your game. You can also enable a 90Hz refresh rate, but at the moment that 90Hz only includes the home environment, the Oculus browser and Oculus TV. Then if you go into the device portion of the settings, you can also turn off that video capture indicator. So when you press record on your device, you'll see the red dot. Sometimes that can be annoying. Well, you can turn it off here if that annoys you. Now the next tip will give you a better image when playing PCVR games. Just jump into your Oculus app on your computer, go into settings, then beta, and then make sure you have the public test channel turned on. Once it's turned on, it will get you to update. It might take a while, but eventually there will be a prompt to update. Make sure you update your system to version 23. You can find your version number in settings, then the general tab, and right at the bottom you should see your version number just there. Then once that's done, you just need to find and go into your Oculus folder. My Oculus folder is located in C, Program Files, Oculus, and then Support. Then once you're into that Support folder, you'll find another folder called Oculus Diagnostics. Go into that folder and you'll find a tool called the Oculus Debug Tool.exe. Then if you go down to the bottom of this window, you'll see an Oculus Link section. The distortion curvature allows you to increase the pixel density in the center of the screen, but also distorts the outside. So if you want a better image in the center of the screen but more distorted around the edge, you can adjust that from low to high. Then we also have the other setting that I'm going to focus on today, which is encode bitrate. Bitrate is basically the amount of data sent per second down the cable. So the more data sent per second, the better the image. 500 is the maximum bitrate you can set it at, and if you have a USB 3 and official link cable, then 500 is definitely doable. But I hear if you're connected to your computer via a USB 2 cable, I hear anything beyond 150 megabits per second stutters. So you might have to play around with it a bit to find the best setting for you, but that will improve the image quality of your link experience. Now my next tip concerns your privacy settings. Linking your Oculus Quest with your Facebook account brings up certain privacy concerns. So if you go into the Oculus Privacy Center, you can change a few settings, such as the first setting here, who will see your activity on Oculus. Now this controls how your current activity in VR is displayed on your profile. So if you don't want anyone knowing what you're currently up to in VR, you can change this to only me. You can also change the who can see your friends list on Oculus. If you don't want anyone to see who your VR friends are, you can change this to only me. The last one, who will see your Facebook name on Oculus. This controls which name people will see associated with your Oculus profile. If you don't want anyone to see your real name in VR, then you can change this to only me. This website, which I'll link to in the description below, also has other information on how to manage the information provided to Oculus via your account, so it's well worth checking out. Now for my next tip. If you connect your Quest 2 to your computer, open up SideQuest and go into that little spanner icon, the device settings and tools, that will open up a number of different things you can play around with, such as in setting it to a 90Hz refresh rate for those games that do support 90Hz. You can also go down and change a few other things, such as the foveated rendering. You can change that from low to high, or even turn it off completely. So foveated rendering basically means there's less pixelation around the edges. If you turn it off, you'll have a nice crisp image, but that will come at the cost of performance. If you go down, you also have default texture size. You can set that to a maximum of 3072. The higher you have it, the prettier your game will look, but again, that comes at the cost of performance. Now, a couple of things to remember with this: each time you restart your Quest, these settings will reset, so you'll have to apply them again if you want to use them again. And this footage I actually took on the Quest. I did a video on this months ago. You can check that video out if you want to see more comparisons like this and learn a bit more about all of these different settings. And my final tip is home environments. Did you know you can install your very own custom home environments on your Oculus Quest 2? I've done a couple of videos in the past where I've gone through some of the best custom home environments, so you might want to check those out. I'll link those in the description below. So how do you do this? Well, first you have to visit the Discord channel, which has all of these home environments that I'll link in the description below. So just scroll down, choose the home environment you want, click on the link, then it should take you to a page that will allow you to download the different .apk files for the home environments. Now you can see some here have the word silent in them. That means there is some home environments which include sound effects and some which don't, so you get to choose which one you want. You also see some have the names like Classic Home or Space Station or Winter Lodge. Now that tells me which home environment on the Oculus Quest 2 it replaces. In my case, I've downloaded the Star Trek The Next Generation home environment that replaces the original Winter Lodge home environment on my Quest. Once you've done that, connect your headset, go into currently installed apps and find the home environment that you want to replace. So mine is Winter Lodge. What I would have to do is uninstall it, but in this case I haven't actually installed it, so it doesn't actually exist. Therefore I can skip this step and just install the APK file. But if it was installed, such as in this example here with the classic home environment, if I want to replace the classic home environment with a custom one, go to the cog next to the home environment and click uninstall app. Then you're ready to replace it with your custom home environment. And like I said before, I don't have Winter Lodge installed, so I can skip that step and just go straight to dragging that APK file straight to the SideQuest symbol, which will install it onto my Quest headset. Now the next step, I put my headset on, select the cog, go into virtual environments and select Winter Lodge, which is actually my Star Trek environment. So as you can see here, now I have my Star Trek environment with the ambient sounds. Well, that's about it today for my top Oculus Quest 2 tips. I really hope you found them useful. If you have, do remember, hit that subscribe button and notification bell, as there will be more content like this coming in the future, and I'll catch you next time.